God gives us a management responsibility every second of every hour of every day. What I want to talk to you today about is our management responsibility for time. How do we manage our time? Do you ever wonder why certain people seem to achieve more in the same amount of time as others? Like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but there are certain people out there that it seems like they kind of stretch their time and they're able to accomplish so much more than you or I could. It's like, how in the world are they able to do that? When it comes to time, let's be honest with each other. We spend our time on what's important to us, right? I don't know if you've ever said this before. I'm certainly guilty of saying it as well. I don't have enough time. Someone asks you, did you do so-and-so? I'm like, I just didn't have enough time. No, we all have the same amount of time. The truth is, we put our time where we see the most value or what we find the most valuable. I want to share with you some scripture. It's Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 through 16. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Wow, what powerful scripture. Look carefully how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of your time because the days are evil. So the scripture is saying here that we have two different ways to manage our time. We can look carefully and be wise, or we can just spend it foolishly and be unwise. So here's a question for you. Do you invest your time in things that really matter? Or do you spend your time on things that really don't matter? Look, we're all guilty of spending too much time watching the news, scrolling on social media, or listening or watching movies that we know we shouldn't be listening or watching to. My question is, can you make sure to manage your time so that you become wise, not unwise? So to illustrate this point a little bit more, I have a visual aid. All right. In this is a whole bunch of rocks. Now, if I were to ask you to play the game where you guess the number of rocks in here, you would probably guess, I don't know, a few hundred. That's how much I thought was in here. But there is around 4,108 rocks in this jar. Crazy, right? 4,108 rocks. If you live to be 79 years old, that's the average lifespan in America, you will live 4,108 weeks. So let these rocks represent 1 week. Each week. There's 1 week. There's 2 weeks. Now, I have my little measuring container here. This is how I measured all this out so I wouldn't have to actually count them. If I fill this up, that's about 6 years of your life right there. So if we do it again, at this point, now you're about 12 years old. Adolescence is over. Now you're entering into the teenage years. 18. At this point, you're 18 years old. Now, I don't know about you guys when you were 18, but I was very foolish at 18. I did not make the best use of my time when I was 18 years old. Now, if we keep looking at this, if you're middle-aged, you're probably right around there. If you're a little bit older than middle age, like retirement, you're probably closer to there. I don't think we understand how little time we have left. I love what it says in the book of Psalm. Psalm chapter 90, verse 12 says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom." The reason that I'm using this illustration is because my goal is for each one of us to start to number our days. We don't have much time left on this world. It says that our life is like a vapor. We're here one day, we're dried up, and we're gone the next. We need to stop playing around at this thing called life and spending our time away aimlessly, and instead, we need to invest it. So my whole goal from this illustration is to give you just a few key takeaways. Number one, when you see how much time you have left, you tend to get serious about the time you have now. I am just as guilty as anyone else of not investing my time. But I don't have a lot of time left. So it's about time we get serious about investing the time that we have now. Number two, when you see how much time you have left, you tend to make what matters matter more. Think about the people in your life that matter most to you. If you could really see how much time you had left, wouldn't you spend more time with those who matter most? Number three, when you see how much time you have left, you tend to invest more with a few. Look, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of friends. All I'm saying is when you start to understand the limited time that you have here on this earth, you tend to invest more time with a few more people. And the reason why is because we want to spend the most part of our time with those who matter most to us. So, in closing, what I'll say, time is a commodity. It's one of the only things that once we spend it, we never give it back. It's not possible to take one of the rocks from here and put it back into here. We take this week of our lives and we just throw it away. We don't really even care about it. We take this week and we're like, because we take our time for granted, we just throw that one away too. And next thing you know, you have weeks and weeks and years of your life that you've wasted. My prayer for you and my prayer for all of us is that we learn to number our days. Look, the truth is we never know when we're going to see Jesus, right? For some of us, it could be 1 week left. We don't know when tragedy could strike. Let's not invest our time to build our kingdom or to puff up our glory, but let's do it to build His kingdom and His glory. And finally, I'll leave you with this. It's a quote from Pastor Tony Evans that I love. It says, "Each of us is responsible for taking the time, talent, and treasures that God has given us and using them for His kingdom purposes." Take care, you guys. God bless.